Okay, so today's episode, I had a conversation with Heather Contant. She is an experienced mortgage broker, um, and she has her own website. If you look up Heather Contant, you should be able to find her website. And I asked her 10 questions that a realtor may not want you to ask them before hiring them, because it could be the difference between you hiring them to sell your home or you asking someone else. So let's get on with those questions, and we will talk to everybody later on. And welcome, Heather, to the show. Heather Contant is a mortgage broker here in Vancouver. She has her own business, and she actually does business, as far as I know, from here in the Lower Mainland all the way to Winnipeg and back again. So she's quite experienced and has worked in several different markets. And today we're going to talk to her about 10 questions you should ask your realtor when you're getting ready to buy your home. So, Heather, let's get into the reason why we have these 10 questions.
Well, as most of us know, buying or selling your home can be a daunting task. In fact, it can almost be a full-time job. So for many people, it makes sense to hire an expert to handle the time-consuming tasks and the nitty-gritty details that goes along with buying or selling your home. And those experts are real estate agents. However, there's, like any business, good real estate agents and maybe not so good real estate agents. So it's really important that we have these questions answered so people can move forward and know how to basically interview their realtor and pick the best one that suits their needs.
Okay, so we'll start with the first question. The first question, you're saying, can I see testimonials or references?
Right. So it's easy for an agent to talk about themselves and their positive attributes and qualifications and experience and so on. But in the real estate business, word of mouth recommendations are as good as gold. So if you've got an agent that's got, several testimonials from different clients that are, speaking on their behalf, working with that agent, and they're mostly positive, then you know that you've probably got yourself a pretty good agent, and you might want to continue on and ask more questions in the process, etc. But really important to figure out those testimonials and references rather than just listening to the agent tell them about the latest awards they've received and so on.
The second question is, can you give me a CMA? What is a CMA?
A CMA is a certified market analysis. So that's a comparative market analysis, which the agent will go into the area where you're looking to purchase or to sell, and they'll actually take different properties that are similar to yours in size, square footage, location, number of bedrooms, etc., and give you a price point on that. So basically an average of the homes that have sold in your area or in the area that you're looking to purchase. So it's really important that you get this from an agent. And there are some agents that, if you're selling their house, they'll just say, oh yeah, we'll list it at this and, that should be good to go. That's not really good enough for you. You really want an agent to actually do their due diligence and do their work and find out exactly what that price point is that's going to generate you the highest dollar that you can get for your property. And this also provides information about the neighborhood. It also tells you if the agent's worthy putting in their time. Like I said, a lot of agents just want the business, right? And they don't really want to sit down because it does take a lot of work. Trust me, it's not easy to do an analysis on a property, especially if they don't know if they're being hired yet, right?
Yeah, that would kind of make sense. But if they're willing to do it, then that means that they're going to take the extra few steps to maybe selling your house in a timely manner.
Right. And also the other thing what the CMA also provides is some agents kind of, maybe want to look for a quick sale. So they'll maybe try and list it at a lower price than actually what the value is. So another reason that it's really important to have a CMA to find out exactly what that price point is and not list it for undervalue just for a quick sale.
Question number 3 is this area growing or declining?
So it's important to know what trends are going on in a particular area that you're either selling or purchasing. And it's important that your real estate agent is familiar with that market. Not all agents work in all areas. So you want to find an agent that's specific to the market that you're either selling or purchasing in. And things that you want to know is what's going on in the neighborhood. Is there any new construction, which means the area is becoming more popular, more valuable. The type and number of small businesses in the area can all point to the neighborhood's growth trends. If businesses are closing, obviously that neighborhood is maybe not where you want to be because it's showing a decline. And a good real estate agent will be able to tell you if the home that you're selling or you have your eye on is likely to be a good investment based on everything that's happening around it. So it's really important that they know the area. You want to be in an area that's growing, not necessarily in an area that's declining, because obviously there's, showing signs of wear and tear in that area, or there's, crime moving into the area or something that you don't really want to be a part of, right?
Okay. Question number 4 is, do you work solo or part of a team? Why would that be important?
Well, there's pros and cons for working with just an individual real estate agent and working with a team. So teams are pretty common these days. And sometimes 2 agents will work together and share the workload, share the duties. Sometimes you'll have like a single agent with support staff behind them, or a group of agents under one business name. So you want to know who you're working with and how they're going to be able to service you. So as I said, positive and negatives for either scenario that we're looking at. A team, you may not always be working with the same person. So that can be good and bad, because if it's a different person that you're talking to, sometimes, well, then you might be getting a different perspective. On the other hand, you might not be talking to someone who's on the same wavelength as you, so you're not getting consistency in information there. You can also get more attention from a team because there are more people. However, you may not be getting attention from the agent who's leading that team, and because they may be busy with other people. So do you want face-to-face time with that top agent, or are you willing to work with other agents that are sort of under that one agent? And if the agent is solo, then are they able to handle you? Are you going to get enough attention from them? Maybe they can give you more attention because they have maybe more of a niche market that they're serving, or niche clients that they pay attention to. So it's really good to know if they're solo, if they're a team, what kind of a team, and how much you're going to need and rely on them and get information back from them.
How many clients do you work with?
This is important, and it kind of piggybacks off of the last question. So this is important to know, again, because you want to know what kind of attention you're going to be getting. And there's no magic number as to how many clients an agent should or could work with. Obviously, if it's a team, they may have more clients that they're working with. Sometimes agents will also categorize their clients, right? So A, B, C, D, A clients are maybe ones that are the need to purchase right away or a listing right away. B clients maybe, well, yeah, we want to move, but maybe not for a couple of months. But it's important to find out how they structure their business, so you can figure out if they're going to be able to benefit you in either your sale or the purchase of your next property, because you want the best information, and you want them to be there to negotiate on your behalf, or you want them to be there to provide feedback on your property that you're selling.
Well, so it's just a good idea to know everything more about their business, so you know how you're gonna receive service, right?
Right, and selling your house or purchasing a house is basically your largest investment that you're going to make. So it's really important that you know who you're essentially getting into a business deal with this agent or this team of agents. So you really want to know who you're doing business with, right?
Yeah. How will you market my home?
This has changed over the time, definitely. Before it used to be, just put your sign up and put on MLS, and away you go. Your house, will get sold eventually. But now with the internet and social media taking over, that there's many ways to market your home. And again, if an agent's not willing to take your home and do videos and get it on social media and promote it through those various channels, you're not going to reach your largest network of potential buyers if you're listing your home in that area. So print ads, social media, videos, networking should all be part of the marketing plan, and increasing your visibility.
So the agent should be able to lay out kind of a marketing plan that will describe the steps they're taking and the process they're using to make your home sell at the price and in a time that you want it to. Is that right?
Right. So just like they're laying out the CMA for you and showing you comparative sales or listings in your particular area, the marketing plan is the same thing. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the day I'm going to schedule your open house, and 2 weeks later we'll do, maybe another open house, and social media posts will be on these days and these days. Yeah, exactly like that.
How do realtor fees work?
This is a good question. Now, the regulatory body governing real estate agents' disclosure of realtor fees is mandatory. It's even got more stringent in the past year. So typically they charge a percentage of the sale price, and you'll want to carefully look at that. You could be looking at a maximum of 6% to sell your home and split that with the buyer's agent. Sometimes it's split up into 3 to 1%. But you want to talk to your agent and find out if this is negotiable. Definitely you want to have an agent that is going to give you a balance of their time and their expertise, and you want to feel that what you're paying this agent to sell your house is in line with what the service that they're providing you. And one way you can tell this is by sitting down with the agent that you're interviewing, and see their presentation skills. If they've taken the time to do a nice CMA and given you a nice presentation so you feel confident that they're going to be doing the best job for you, then you can talk about the fees and make sure that those fees are in line with their presentation and marketing plan that they've set up for you.
Okay, so you said in line with so if they're saying that they're going to do like a 360 video and they're going to put it out on Twitter, Facebook, and all these other social media platforms so many times a month and everything, and it just seems like, wow, I'm getting like way too much stuff, or like this is like a fantastic deal that these guys are giving me to market my house, and it seems like they're doing a whole heck of a lot. And for the amount of the 6% that they're actually going to collect, if it doesn't seem to line up, should that bring a red flag to me when I'm talking to this realtor?
Right. So if you're thinking, well, you've interviewed maybe one or two agents, you kind of have an idea of what to expect in a marketing plan, what services they're offering you. If you're thinking, well, this doesn't look very professional, I'm not really feeling too confident, maybe it's not an experienced agent, then you might want to reconsider, should I go with this agent because I might get more time with them because maybe they're not as busy, but then again, their skills aren't showing me that, they're not as professional as they could be. Do I really want to pay them this much money for a level of service I don't think I'm really going to be getting from that particular agent?
Right.
But you definitely have to have this conversation before you sign the listing contract. And of course, like anything else, we're in Canada and we like to get, the best service for the lowest price. So always, always, always ask for a lower commission structure, because you never know. Your house might sell really fast, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I just paid all that money, and like poof, my house was, gone on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it's a touchy subject.
Yeah. What experience do you have?
Okay, this is an excellent question. An agent's experience is summed up more than just the number of years in business. You can have an agent in business for 30 years, but doesn't mean he's a good agent, right? So one of the other indicators is your list price to your selling price ratio. This formula is derived by comparing the original list price and the sold price. So for instance, if the original list price was $470,000, if it was a condo in outside of Vancouver in a suburb, and the selling price was $462, then the listing price to the selling price is pretty good, right? It's almost like 85%. So the closer that a realtor's original list price and sold price to 100% is a good indicator that they're a fairly good, experienced agent. And the reason why you want to know this information is because you want your home priced according to the market. If it's priced too low, it will sell quickly. And if it's priced too high, you'll not get the exposure, and your sell price will probably be well below your asking price, because people won't look at it if they think that the value is not there and the price is too high. So when you find the right agent and provides good advice and service, and they're a problem solver, you're probably on your way to finding the right agent that you want to work with.
Cool. So, this ratio is gonna tell you a lot about their success, and what the probable success of selling your house at the appropriate price is going to be, right?
Right. So, for instance, if your house was priced too high,
Mm-hmm.
or if they're pricing properties too high, and their list price to selling price is a really low percentage. Let's say it ends up being like, they're like, well, it's 35-40%, but that's because whatever excuse they may justify it for, kind of tells you that they're listing your properties too high and selling too low. So they may not have a grip on the market, or not even on the market, but they don't even really know what they're doing or how to assess the properties and the prices of them. So you'd be losing money with someone like that, right? If you went with an agent like that that's overpricing, and sales price are coming in lower, you're losing money, because people aren't going to look at a house that's priced over and the value's not there. Then someone comes along and offers you a low ball offer, and if it's been sitting for 3 or 4 months on the market, you're going to let it go because you got to get rid of this property, but it probably wasn't priced right in the first place. Mm-hmm. And you want to continue and build your relationship with this real estate agent and find a solid one, so that when you purchase again in the future, you've already done your due diligence and your hard work, and you've got this person in place, and you can build a relationship with them for future sales and purchases.
Okay. How will you keep me informed?
Well, as in all relationships, communication is key. And me, as a purchaser of properties and a seller, I'm probably the worst client a real estate agent can have, because I want to know everything as soon as it happens. And I think most of us are like that. But you want to make sure that the ground rules for communication, are up front. So are they going to text you? Do they text? Do they email? Do they call? How do you prefer to get information? Would you rather have a phone call or a text or an email sent to you? How often can you expect an update? What kind of updates will you get? Some people like to get feedback from potential buyers right after a showing. And, most agents will call the agent that's taken buyers through your home after the showing and say, hey, how did your clients like the house? Any feedback? And they'll usually provide feedback and say, yeah, the clients loved it. The wife, loved it more than the husband. We'll see what happens there. Or they're kind of concerned about, does the roof need to be repaired, and et cetera. So that gives you an idea of, what the general public feels, how they feel about your house. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to get that information, and when are you going to get that information? And as I said, I know for me, you just want to know, you just want to know what's going on with your house and how people are responding to it. What hours are you able to call your agent or text your agents? What hours do they work? Some agents are, I don't work after 6 p.m. That's my family time. I'm available all weekends, but don't call me in the evening. Are you okay with that? Maybe you're not okay with that. Maybe you can't talk to your agent during the day, and you need to call them in the evening. So it's important to find out not only how they will keep you informed, but also when they will keep you informed and when you can contact them. And sometimes questions pop up at random times, and you want to know, can I just send you a quick text and you answer me, or do I have to wait with my burning question until the morning?
Yeah. Well, I also want to look at it from the other way around, because I'm not a person who wants to be involved in the minutia. I just want you to come back to me with a result. I mean, so shouldn't the ground rules be also, ground rules about when they contact me also, right?
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Totally. So if you're like yourself, if you don't want to be notified on every movement on the house or whatever pops up, then yeah, absolutely, you need to communicate with that as well. And as I said, communication is key. So both parties are entering this partnership, and you got to figure out how you're going to communicate, because you don't want that communication to break down, because buying or selling a house, as we all know, is stressful enough. But if you're becoming frustrated with your agent, or they're becoming frustrated with you, that's not a fun time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, question number 10. What are the drawbacks of my home?
So our homes are quite emotional to us. We have an emotional attachment to them. So sometimes it's very hard to have a clear perspective on, how our house is going to be to the general public, the market out there. And sometimes the truth hurts. But you need to have a realtor that will be honest about your home's flaws or deficiencies. Walls can be painted. Maybe you don't think your carpet's in bad shape, but the agent thinks it looks tired and maybe needs to be replaced. And it's difficult, like I said, when you're emotionally tied to your house and you've lived in it for many years, and you think everything's perfect, and, why wouldn't people want purple walls in their kitchen? Something like that. So it's really important that you find out what maybe some minor renovations can be done to make sure that when your house hits the market, that it is going to appeal to the mass majority of the purchases out there for that price range, because there's a lot of competition out there. So you really want your house to, showcase at its best.
Right. You
and if you,
oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, finding these things out before you put your house on the market at least gives you a chance to, get those little minor renovations done. And sometimes people need to know, like, don't bother doing this, because you're not going to get that return back on the purchase price. Some people think that they maybe should fix up too much, but if you renovate your bathroom and someone actually buys your house basically to gut your house, well, now you've spent, $10,000 or $15,000 renovating your bathroom, which you desperately thought needed to be done. But the potential buyer is like, I'm taking down this whole house, so why did they put this money in, right? So you need to know what your flaws in your house may be, and you also need to know that where to spend your money to get that return back on your investment, because you don't always see a return on repairs or renovations, so you got to choose that wisely. And a good agent will know what's going to get you your highest sale price on that property for doing the minimal amount of renovation or upgrades to your home.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned purple walls, and I don't see a lot of people being wanting the purple wall. So that may be one of those things that you want your house to sell.
Right, but you'd be surprised at, people are very tied to their colors, and, and if you leave purple walls, or you leave, really dark colors on the walls, to actually get that wall back to a neutral color, if the potential buyer wants, just a white wall, it takes quite a few coats of primer and paint to actually get that color off the wall. So it is kind of a big deal.
Are there like a list of features that you know of that that are quick things to give your house an appeal, versus the way you may have gone way too far, like you said, renovating a whole bathroom in order to sell it, maybe going too far, but painting a wall? Is there like a fine line that we should stop at to make sure that it has appeal, but we're not putting too much in to that we're causing ourselves a loss.
Well, first impressions count, right? Mm-hmm. So curb appeal is probably the first thing. So, if your house needs touch up on painting, sometimes people don't keep that up. Or maybe your landscaping, your shrubs have overgrown, so you can't, show your home off as best as it could be. So first of all, curb appeal, get rid of those overgrown shrubs, or get someone in to, put a coat of paint on the exterior, make sure the front door is clean, that there's not visible dirt around the front door. You don't want your house to look like, it hasn't been taken care of. So I would say that curb appeal is number one. And then when you get inside the house, decluttering your home and taking down personal pictures, getting rid of all that stuff that you've collected in all your memories, take it out. Because when people walk into a house that they're going to potentially purchase, they want to envision their own things in there. So they don't want to be distracted by family pictures, decorating the home, or, little artifacts and collections of stuff that is part of the seller's memories, not the potential buyer walking in and saying, hey, I can see ourselves here, and, I can see, our furniture fitting great in here. They can't see that if the house is cluttered. And closet space is huge too. So cleaning out those closets and making it look, giving the appeal that there's lots of space in the closets. Maybe there isn't a lot of space, but if you're taking that stuff that you've been, collecting over the years out, certainly helps to showcase your house better.
Okay.
So I would say cleaning it is number one, making sure the kitchen is detailed, the appliances, making sure the bathrooms are spotless, the floors are clean, the walls are clean, and maybe a coat of paint on the walls if necessary. But doing something like renovating a bathroom, or sometimes people think that changing the light switches, updating the light switches will help. Well, light switches aren't cheap to buy. And again, someone might come in and say, like, I want to put black switches on there, not white ones. So you've just spent money doing that. So that's where an agent comes in and says, this is what you need to do. Don't bother doing this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today, Heather.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yes, it has been a pleasure and very informative. And we look forward to having you come back again and again.
All right. I'm looking forward to it as well.
And thank you for joining us today. That was Heather Contant, and 10 questions that you should ask your realtor. And I guess as a theme to this show, that, as she said, communication is probably going to be most key, making sure that you're able to communicate with your realtor about what you really want. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.